Okay, and we are live. Hi, I'm Philip Lee. I'm with Seward County Community College Marketing and Public Relations Office, and I'm here with Seward County Community College Vice President of Academic Affairs, Luke Dowell. How are you today, Luke?
I'm good, Phil. How are you?
Good, thanks. All right, well, we're 8 weeks into the semester. That means that we're at the halfway point. Let's see how things are going. So how have things been so far? We'll talk about the first 8 weeks and then what we can expect coming up the next 8 weeks. So let's start from there. How are things going?
So we've talked about this quite a bit here recently. That this is something to celebrate, something to be proud of. That we have made it through 8 weeks and been able to really keep our doors open and keep going as we started the semester. Because to be honest, that was one of our concerns, was that we had a plan, but we did not know how it would go. We did not know how we would react to need to respond to things as they came up. That was the thing that we just weren't really sure of what to expect or what might happen. So the fact that we are 8 weeks in and that we are still offering face-to-face classes, we're offering courses where students have options. We do have students that have had to self-quarantine because they've been exposed to the virus. We have some who have even tested positive and they're isolating because of that, and we are still able to offer them options to complete their courses remotely and keep going. That was one of the biggest things is, if with interruptions and people that not able to come to campus, what happens with their education? Well, our faculty and staff have done an outstanding job of getting the technology in place, figuring out how to make it work so that we can provide opportunities for those students. So we're just really proud and happy that all the things that our faculty and our staff have done to get us to this point. So it's a good thing to be here. Now, having said that, we're not we know that that doesn't mean that we can stop, let down our guard, or relax. Really, we have to keep being vigilant. We believe that the reason that we are able to still be open is because our faculty, our staff, and our students have done such a great job of following our guidelines, our recommendations that we developed in conjunction with our county and in following state guidelines. And the fact that we're here is because we have done those things, and so we're going to continue to do that. Know that we still have a lot of work to do to complete the semester and help our students be successful through this semester. So there's still a lot to go, but we're happy with where we are.
Yeah, I think that's been an incredible team effort, and by that, I mean not just, the Seward, but students as well, students, faculty, staff, administration, everyone all together, buying in to a certain extent of how it is. And, I was talking to Jason Sauter yesterday, and we talk about being family. But with every family, there's also arguments as well. And I'm sure that we've had, without a doubt, our share of, grumblings. And I'm like, that's just the way it is. People are going to be mad about one thing or another. And I think that, there are always going to be your critics of people saying that, well, you could have done this and this. Yeah, that's true. But like you said, Luke, it's really important that for the first 8 weeks, we have done exactly what we have been trying to do, to have in-person classes, to get these kids their education, and to move forward no matter what. And yeah, there are times when we have seen, and I know that people will go online and say, oh, they're not wearing a mask or doing this or doing that. Well, that happens. Those are things that you can only control to a certain extent. Sometimes it slips. Sometimes I go out over there. I'm in my office, no one's here, so I don't wear a mask, and I just walk outside, and I forget. Doesn't necessarily mean that I'm doing this on purpose. I'm not one of those people over there, but I just forget. So, it's really easy to criticize, but like you sort of said, we should be really, really proud of what we've accomplished so far with everyone sort of buying in. And yes, there are going to be critics, there are going to be grumbling, and not everyone is going to be 100% happy. But then, like we said, in the family, how many times are we all really, really all happy together? If it wasn't, we really wouldn't be a family. But at the same time, too, that's how you grow. And I'm sure that this first 8 weeks, you've taken a lot of all the experiences that everyone has and how you guys can get better, how you guys can move forward for the next 8 weeks. And you know, maybe at times it's, you know, you can't implement it now because it's a little bit too late, but there's always the spring semester. And so I think that, you know, things have gone pretty well. Would you sort of say that? I'm like, were there any really major obstacles that you possibly didn't foresee that, you know, now you're thinking about for the spring semester?
Oh, not really. I mean, I think one of the things we realized is moving into the fall semester was that to kind of expect the unexpected. You know, we couldn't plan for every possibility, so um, we needed to be flexible enough and be ready to adjust on the fly. And I think we've done our team has done a great job of doing that. And um, you know, I there weren't major obstacles or things that I can think of, but everything changed. So one of the things was that there are things that we have and we still are, you know, working through that, you know, things that we took for granted before, things that maybe you need to think about now. And you know, one seemingly simple example is, you know, a faculty member shared with me that it takes 3 times longer to take roll
Mm-hmm.
because you have students in front of you, but you also have students remote, and you just kind of have to wait longer for them to reply. And
Mm-hmm.
something as simple in class as taking roll is a different process now. So every process is a bit different, or we need to consider how things change and be adaptable. And when you have someone who needs to be out for 2 weeks, how do we continue education for that student? So I don't know that there are things that we did not, you know, that were unforeseen. It was just, like I said, we kind of expected to have to deal with the unexpected, to be ready to say, okay, we no, we didn't really plan specifically for this, but let's take it on now, and we'll move on. So you know, as we plan for spring, you know, we have the same types of concerns as how do we limit exposure? How do we um, you know, how do we keep our faculty and staff and students safe, but continue to offer the education that they that our students need and our students expect? And how do we go beyond just, well, yeah, we have something out there, to getting back to what our team does best as being excellent at what we do, not just getting by, but how can we be excellent? So moving forward, that's what we're looking at, is how can we continue to be offering our face-to-face classes and offer what our students need, keep our community and our students safe, but also provide that with excellence and do better at it than what we're doing now, and continue to improve, continue to grow. And then, you know, kind of going back to something you mentioned before is, you know, about, you know, things that people don't agree with, people complain about or whatever. You know, that's part of being a team, and that's part of what we believe in. Is it's not just, oh, we'll just ignore that or whatever. We take those things seriously, and we talk to people and listen to what those concerns are. And we don't always change based on those concerns. Sometimes we just have to say, hey, we understand, we hear you, but here's the reason why we're going to continue doing what we need to do or what we're doing now. And we get that that not everyone's going to agree with that, but we try to give the reasons why we are doing what we're doing, and listen to those concerns, because I think that we grow and we get stronger, we get better by listening to those and taking those seriously. We don't blow them off, and we but we use that to get stronger. And so, you know, that's the other side of it, is that maybe that's not always seen, but we do talk about those things, and we talk about how we can best continue to move forward. One of the things that we've talked about is that, yes, we are going to get through this, but the goal is to get through this both stronger and together, and to to do it with everybody pulling and everybody getting their needs met. This is hard on all of us, and something that we all have to consider is that we need to take care of each other and listen to each other. And sometimes we just need to stop and listen to someone who's just kind of having a bad day, and maybe it comes out as a gripe, but instead of addressing it that way, maybe we just need to listen and care about what the other one's going through, because this is a load on all of us that we weren't really, expecting to have to do and deal with if you think about it from a year ago. And so from the students to the faculty, your coworkers, or others that maybe, that you don't talk to all the time, we need to understand that, and we need to be able to, to kind of help that out and be ready to listen and work together.
Yeah, communication, we talk about it all the time and how important it is. And in this case, when you're dealing with crises and pandemics, there's not, communication is as important as can be. And you really hit on something about listening. That's what we all need to do. We have to sort of go over there and, we take those things for granted sometimes until it actually comes in front of you. And like you sort of said, I can go in over there and just having a bad day over there and wondering why we're doing certain things. And there have been times that, myself, I've wondered why we're doing certain things, but people sort of go over there, and you just have to, yourself, while complaining, have to realize what the other person's doing, what the other person's dealing with. And I've also said this with other people in the executive team, is that you guys are doing so much more than your just other jobs. For example, for yourself, you're also on the COVID team and, dealing with that. And I know that, Luke, as much as I think how smart you are, you're not a doctor or a health consultant.
Exactly.
And so and for you to go out over there and to try to say, well, why are we doing this, or why are we doing that? Why are we quarantining this? Yeah, I've had questions, but at the same time too, like, you're just gathering as much information as you can, and we don't have those people on premise that actually, to tell us exactly what it is. We have to do it ourselves. And I think a lot of times people sort of don't realize that.
Well, and the other side of that, though, too, is that we also do not just make decisions or do things like that in isolation. We are in contact with the county frequently, and even even after setting our guidelines and setting our plan and all that, we still have issues come up, and we have questions that come up, and we continue to contact them and even if we think we know the answer, we still oftentimes will reach out and get their feedback on it. So it's not like we're making any of those in isolation. We're the decisions we're making, the protocols we're following, and those types of things, have been reviewed and sometimes re-reviewed by the county, and they are still there. So we're not, we're still working with making sure that we're working together with them and not trying to become doctors, and we ask questions that come up to ensure that what we're doing and follows the best practices and what they want us to do. And we visited with people at the county, people at the hospital, and people at EMT, and asked those questions and got feedback and those types of things. So it's a team effort, in the entire community. And yes, we are all taking on more than what we've had in the past, but that's what we're going to have to do to get through this stronger. And so we're willing to do it, and we are so grateful that everybody on our team has done that and stepped up. And we know that it's not easy and that it's hard. And so we're so thankful for everything that our faculty, staff, our students, our community that comes out on campus, listens to what we ask and have been receptive of what we're asking them to do as well. And so we're so thankful for everything that people have done, but we know that we still, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's a long race, and we got to continue to keep at it.
So we're just through midterms now, and grades are sort of being filled in. How do you think that the students have been doing this semester? What have you been hearing from faculty about, academic-wise, how the students are coping and how they're sort of coping?
Well, I'm not going to speculate on that overall
Mhm.
because there's there's so much into that. I think our students, by and large, have done a great job, but it was different. So I know that some struggle with it, and some,
Mhm.
and that's something that we have talked with, with the instructional team, with deans
Mhm.
and division chairs, and pass that along to faculty members to really, reach out to students and find out how they're doing.
Mhm.
We have systems in place to support students, and to, find out if there's issues that we can help them resolve. Sometimes it's not an academic issue. Sometimes life happens and then they disappear from the class. And
Mhm.
so we have things and have had things in place for that, and we continue to utilize those to try to reach out. So I'm not going to, I'm not going to pretend that everything is just perfect.
Mhm.
And all, I know that there's challenges out there, and I've heard of some of those, but I'm also going to not say that, everything uh, is in the other direction as well, because I know that a lot of things are going well, and
Mhm.
there's a lot of positives that are taking place there. So, our faculty are handling it, are doing the best they can, and are reaching out and helping those students where they can. And we need our students to continue to work, and we need our students to reach out if they're struggling. And we're at a point now mid-semester that, if we kind of identify some things, we can still help some students turn things around if they're struggling. And so we need them. Our faculty are doing that, or are reaching out and offering to help. And we need our students to immediately, really reach out if they feel like they're struggling, and get things turned around for the semester. And we'll see where we are. When we do get the reports in, we'll see where we are. But we know that, um, we know that, and that, to be honest with you, that's not much different than a normal semester.
Mhm.
We have some that are struggling, we have some that are doing great, and our students need to understand, and our faculty do understand that even in a given semester, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You got to maintain it throughout the entire semester to be able to, meet the outcomes that they need to be successful in the class. So they understand that, and they're working at it, and it's a different environment that they're doing that in, but they've always done an outstanding job with that, and they continue to do that. So, that's what I know is there, and we just got to continue to work at it, and find other ways to help our students out.
Yeah, I think that's so important, to sort of let people know exactly where we really are. I mean, it's easy to say that, oh yeah, we want to pat ourselves on the back because we've done an incredible job. I'll say this for us at the college, that we've done an incredible job under the circumstances going in. But at the same time too, and we want to point that out, but at the same time too, we also know that people are struggling too. Not everything is perfect, as you sort of said, and we want people to sort of say that, sort of know that too, that we're being very transparent and being out there with that. And I think that's one of also the really, really important things as we talk about communication is transparency. We've been, for the most part, I think, pretty upfront with people about things that are going on here at the college, COVID wise, academic wise. I think that we've been pretty open about that. Sometimes, there are just sort of things that just sort of go, that you just can't say. But at the same time, too, I think that for all intents and purposes, we've been pretty transparent. We have the COVID dashboard out over there that lets people know how many people have been infected and such. And that's important too. Just all that is just really super important about letting people know exactly what's going on without, you want to be positive because that's what we're about. But at the same time too, we also want to be real. Okay, so let's talk about the next 8 weeks and what we can see going through the home stretch. It's about Thanksgiving and then finals. What's going on with that?
So, with the end of the semester, we got together and had several teams discuss this, and work through, possibilities and everything. And we are um, we are asking, instructors to provide both a remote option and an on-campus face-to-face option to finish out after Thanksgiving. So instead of, so basically the student can choose that, whether they don't come back after Thanksgiving, they finish up the last week of school and their final exam remotely, or if they come back to campus and finish up on campus. And that's a challenge for our instructors. The reason we ask our instructors to do that is because, those students that choose not to come back, that will decrease the number of people on campus and decrease the risk of potentially someone bringing something back and spreading. But at the same time, it's, that's just one part of what we're dealing with. We also need our students to be successful in classes. And if our students feel like I'm going to be more successful finishing out this semester by being on campus, they're going to have that option to do that. And as I said, it's a challenge for our instructors that they're working through those things, and the instructor will provide information on how that's going to work to their classes. So the students will find out about that. There are some programs that are, really hands-on that's not an option. So there's going to be some situations, and those faculty and those programs are going to share that with their students, that, there's not a way that we can do this. Because really, yes, the safety, health and safety of our students and our faculty and our staff is of utmost importance, but the success, the academic success is important still. We cannot ignore that at the same time. So we are trying to, we believe that we can do both this way. And so that's kind of what that is. The students will get more information from their instructors as they work through those things and make those plans. And that's why we made the decision when we did. So they did have time to work out those issues, those plans, and we're trying to support that, working through that, and making sure that is still, both options then are viable and are equitable and everything. So that's where we are doing what we are doing for the rest of the semester. So basically up until Thanksgiving, it's going to be just the way it has been. Classes are going to continue to go the way they've gone until that point, and then there will be that option basically for students after. So in some cases, it's going to look very similar because right now some of those classes have had some remote and some on campus anyway, and so in a lot of ways that might look the same. But we just wanted to give our students a chance. We want our students to really think about what's best for them, both for their health and safety and along with their family, but in addition to that, their success in those classes. So that's what our decision is and the reason we made that.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to some instructors around already, and there's a possibility that they're trying. So they're sort of re-scrambling and sort of trying to schedule their programs to sort of maybe get things done in case that they have to go, remote and such like that. So it's great that they're actually planning and thinking about it, and they're just not waiting to the last possible moment to sort of decide. So they're really shuffling already. So it's not as if people are sort of instructors are just sort of taking this like, well, we're going to just, no, I know a bunch of instructors that are really already trying and thinking ahead. I think that's important. But also the most important thing I think is that, like with the students, it's like, since we're closing for Thanksgiving break and we're going away, we want to go ahead and get the students out over there who maybe have Thanksgiving with Aunt Jo, and Aunt Jo is suddenly has corona, or maybe she's met with someone over there. And now the student is suddenly doesn't know what to do. Well, now I'm over here and I've got a final take and I need to take it. And suddenly I have to be in class. But, now this sort of gives them a little peace of mind. If they can know that they can finish their academics remotely and not have to come back and infect everyone because they're so worried, that leaves a lot of pressure off of them. They can sort of just do it from their home and not have to worry, well, maybe I have to sneak in, maybe they don't know, or maybe I can take that chance. And I think that this is really a safety net for them. And I think that that's something that we really do want to stress to the kids, is that if you think that you go over and that you might have been compromised, you need to stay home. and we can do it over there. Yeah, I suppose at the same time too, as what you had also said before, is that yeah, if they came back and they were we would do the exact same thing that we have been doing anyway. Self-quarantine, put them in the system. But to be quite honest, why take that chance and just do it from your home and be safe there rather than doing it over here, right?
Well, exactly. And the, you know, and the concern too is, you know, if someone comes back after Thanksgiving, you know, it may not be them that, you know, was exposed over the Thanksgiving break, but maybe someone else is that they meet back on campus. So, you know, there's those things to think about. And I think that's one of the, um, you know, that's one of the areas moving forward is we have, you know, we've been able to do what we've done so far because people have worked together. People consider, you know, the risk and consider, you know, think a little bit differently about things and what they do and how that might impact not only them, but the people around them. And I think giving options and giving, you know, putting those things out there is important for students to have because we continue to rely on them to make good decisions in regards to their exposure and those types of things, because it does impact other people besides just them. So, so I think it just kind of continues to go right in line with what we've done is we know we have to do this together and we know that we have to rely on each other to do their part to make this work. And we're continuing to do that. And let me just say one more time that, that's just one more example of the outstanding work and the effort and honestly, you know, the stress that our faculty and our staff have gone through to make this possible for our students. And we are very grateful to what they have done and what they've gone above and beyond to meet the call of what we've asked. And so, you know, we're excited about that and continue to work with them on that.
You know, the one thing I also want to add too is that, you know, when this pandemic first broke, and you know, we've gone through this a million times, is that we only had 2 weeks to put everything together. Then we had over the summer to put stuff into the fall. Now we have the fall to go into the spring. And what I really want to tell the students or parents who want to have these together, who are afraid to come on out, you know, we're getting better at this, at figuring out these things. And yes, you know, I am sure that Luke and the whole entire staff out over there knows that, yeah, there's a possibility of a second wave coming in and that it might be bad. But at the same time, too, we're thinking about that already. And we've taken all the experiences that we have for the past 6 to 8 months and trying to sort of push it forward to the spring. And while, as Luke was saying, like there are some, you know, some questions go over there, some things that are not perfect. We'll try to make them, you know, better come spring. And I think that that's is learning and taking the experiences that we have and making better and doing better decisions. And, you know, one of the things I think that was really interesting was that at the very start, we had said that, well, you know, we expected X amount of people, and then we had more people come in than we thought, and then we sort of had to scramble a little bit to get room for that. Well, that's something that we know now, and that now we can handle it even better. And we hope that it's a problem that we have to a certain extent. You know, maybe, you know, that we want to have people coming back on campus, wanting a sense of normalcy, and I think that's important. But I just want people to know is that the experience that we've learned, we're going to apply that to make things better for them.
Yeah, and continue. And yeah, that's right. And I think that, you know, that's what we've heard too in our community, in our hospital, is they're learning new things and learning that, you know, kind of moving forward to what we can do and still being cognizant of the risk and what's out there, but also, you know, finding ways to continue to move forward and get better. And yes, we're talking about that all the time and what we can, you know, how we can continue to improve. So, and with that, I guess it's a great segue into, you know, a shameless plug that enrollment for spring opens up in November.
That's right.
On November 2nd. So, you know, for current students, start visiting with your advisors about getting a plan set up for those that maybe we're kind of waiting to see. Now's the time to contact admissions and contact advisors to set up an appointment and see what we have to offer, because we have everything to offer that we've ever offered in the past. You know, we haven't had to cut back and say, oh, we can't do this. We are finding ways to offer those courses and offer those opportunities, and we continue to even look for more. And so, yeah, that's a great segue into let's keep moving forward. And now's the time to start thinking about enrolling for spring.
And yeah, we actually have even more flexibility these days. And I think that's important.
It's allowed us to provide some flexibility. So where there may have been some concerns or barriers of I can't attend at a certain time or whatever, why don't you ask? Why don't you come in and check with us and see what some of our options that we now have and how they might be able to help out. So yeah, it's the time to start thinking about spring, and we've been planning for it. And as I said, enrollment opens up in November, but now's the time to make appointments to talk to admissions and see what students can do to join us.
Yep. And one final thing for the students out over there, always kind of keep in touch with your instructors, check your Canvas, check your emails, just school email that is.
That just sort of make sure, yeah, more important now than ever. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And you know, we just want you guys to succeed. That's what we're here all about: success and safety. Those are the two things that we're over there. Doors are always open. I've been in Luke's office a lot of times. I've seen people meeting over there. Sometimes it's interesting, but at the same time too, that's what this is all about. But open communication, trying to be transparent, you know, and we're just looking out for the future of our community and the academics over there. So, you know, I think that we're making strides. We're going forward, and you know, we'll get there. Anything else, Luke?
No, as most everyone know, we welcomed our new president, Brad Bennett, this week, and are really excited. He has jumped right in and been involved and engaged, asked some questions about what we have done in the past, and moving forward, looking ahead, and has fit in perfectly with us and been a great help. And we really look forward to moving ahead with him. So if you haven't had a chance to meet him yet, that's someone that you need to meet, and we will look forward to working with him.
All right. Okay, Luke, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us, and I'm sure that at the end of the semester, we'll give you another shout out and talk to see how things probably went out.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Thanks, Luke. Take care.
Thank you. You too.